Well, good morning. We're working on the beezer this morning, and Kevin is lifting the tank off right now. We took the petcocks out. The left petcock didn't have any filter at all. The right petcock did have a filter in it, and it was all clogged up. Apparently, the concern is that there's rust inside this tank, and that's why we're going to put multiple filters on it. So we'll take a look in there. Now, looking in the gas that came out, where's that white bucket?
Oh, it's over there with the cloth over it.
All right, this is the gas that came out, and let's see what it looks like. You can see there is, especially down in this area. Let's see if we can do this. See all the crud and stuff that came out of the gas tank down there. So the concern is we do need inline filters in addition to adding new filters to the petcocks. So that's very dark gasoline. We'll probably throw that away and put in fresh gas. Way to go, Frank. All right, I'll do that when I have two hands to work with. All right, so Kevin's taking the tank off.
Spinning.
Is it spinning?
Of course it is.
Of course.
Oh, got it. I got lucky.
Okay.
I got that last oomph.
Good. All right. So we've already taken the bowls off the carb. They were clear, which surprised us. We expected to find stuff in there. They've put in adapters on the tank so that they can use Triumph petcocks, and that's fine. Once we get a, I probably have a filter for this petcock that didn't have a filter. And this petcock, the filter is really cruddy dirty. Can you see that? Let me get it to focus. That's pretty dirty. So we'll see what we can do. I may go with a new petcock. If I don't have a filter for it, I may have to go with a new one. So that's where we are. We're working. Kevin's doing all of this hard work, and I'm still up here working in the headlight, trying to get the headlight wires, the source through the Kevin just filled gasoline.
Put out your cigarette, Frank.
Yeah. Got a light?
Yeah.
All right, so we're still working. Well, with any luck, this will let you see the rust in the bottom of the tank, and I'll see if I can find somebody who can clean and line this tank for a reasonable price. I mean, we could put a handful of nuts and bolts in there with hot soapy water or kerosene, but we couldn't really do a great job. So I'll ask around, see if I can find anybody local. I could always send it to a gas tank lining company in California because they do wonderful work, but they A, are very expensive, and the B, the last time I spoke with them, they weren't able to do gas tanks for a while because they lost their gas tank specialist. So I don't know what their status is, but if you want to get a gas tank lined beautifully with a wonderful gray epoxy lining, look up gas tank lining in California because they are really good. Now, in the meantime, over here, these are the two petcocks that came out of the bike. These are the filter assemblies that go with those petcocks, and you can see that they are not filters. This is the squish washer that came with each one, and it is thoroughly squished. So I have brand new petcocks, brand new squish washers, and brand new flat washers, which are supposed to be under the squish washers. So we're going to put in these new petcocks and new washers in this tank with good filters, and we're also going to put in inline filters, of which I have ordered, and it should be tomorrow. So that's what we're going to do as far as getting clean gas to the carburetors. All right, client requested a tune-up to include valve adjustment, and we've got the head off. Kevin's got the head off, and right here, I really don't know if the engine is at top dead center, but I think that you should never have that much clearance. So we're gonna put it top dead center, and that's about 20 thousandths. So he's going to do a valve adjustment on this thing, and when we get done, I want to check this valve and see. That don't seem right. That just don't seem right. In the meantime, I'm over here changing the wiring on the instrument. Excuse me, let me get this thing zoomed down. Thank you. The instrument lights, because they've got it wired with the ground going to the center and power going to the outside, which is 180 degrees wrong, because that puts the power on the outside where it can be touched by somebody and shorted out. That's what we call a smoke generator. So I'm going to change these wires so that the ground is on the outside and the signal is on the inside. It'll be safer. Okay, Kevin did a adjustment on the valves, and it was interesting. These were both set to 8, as they're supposed to be. Nice loose 8. This was a nice loose 10, and this was a nice loose about 35. We didn't even bother to measure it. So it's now down to a nice loose 8. 10 and 8. Okay, Kevin, do me a favor. I'm going to keep this going. You get in here and click these two so people can hear the click. That's a lovely sound. And after a few years, you'll hear that and know when things are right and when things are wrong. Good. Okay, so at this point, I'd say button it up.
Will do.
Okay, good. And I'm over here. I've got these lights out. Let me show you what I'm doing. These are the lights for the instruments, and they're red and black. And what the problem is the black is ground, and it's hooked to the frame of the light bulb, and that's just flat wrong. So these blacks have to be made red, and then these red ones have to be made some other color. It doesn't really matter. Take them down and hook them up to the lighting switch instrument position. Normally that would be brown and green. I think I'll use green when I don't have something that has a trace. If I don't have, for example, brown and green wire in my junk wire, I will use the trace green for this light. So I'm going to cut these, solder in green wires. I'm going to cut these, and I'm going to solder on red wires so that the polarity is correct. Okay, I finished up this light. The wire to the case is now red. That used to be this one. And the signal wire is going into the center. This one is all covered over and sealed, and red and green are coming out. I will put shrink over this, and that'll be the two of them. I used these heat shrink solder splices. If you've not seen them, they're really cool. They're heat shrink, and this is a piece of solder. And you put the wires in from either end and meet in the middle, like so. It's best if you can intermix the wires right there, like so. Let's see. Okay. Then you heat it with the gun, heat gun. Heat. Let me get over here. And what happens is the heat shrinks first to hold the wires in place. And then you just keep heating it and watch the solder suddenly melt. It is melting. There it is. You see it melting? So now you've got a solder joint inside heat shrink. So it's insulated and waterproof, and it's a great splice. These are available online, different diameters for 1, 2, 3, 4 wires. This is a bit of show and tell that I did when I introduced these to some friends at lunch. That's a single splice, a small single splice, a single to a double, and a single to a triple. Just neat things that you can do with these heat shrink solder splices. Anyway, that's just for what it's worth. All right, so it's a little after 1 o'clock, and we finished with the adjusting the valves. We've got the full electrical system working. Up here I've got all the lights. High beam, low beam, horn, and park lights off. So, back here at the back we've got tail light and brake light, but they seem to be reversed. First of all, the bulb that was in there was bad. It's blown out. So I have a LED bulb, I put that in there. And the brake light and the tail light seem to be reversed. The wiring to them is correct, so that means that the wires inside this area have been installed wrong. And I will do that tomorrow. We're calling it a day right now. Got the lens down there. And tomorrow I will reverse those wires. Probably tomorrow. I also have to work at Kevin's shop tomorrow. So that's where we are. And, I'm going to call it a day. So the electrical, oh, I know what. No spark. We have power going directly to the box. We've chased it right up to the Gazinta. We've checked the wires coming out of the mag pickup, and they seem to be good. With the rotor is turning. I have no answer for you why we don't have spark at this point in time. I'm going to continue checking and double checking the wires. I know it's got a good ground because it goes from here directly to ground. And I'll check the wires going to the coils. I'll check the coils. I'll check the spark plug wires, things like that. In the end, it may be the box, the black box. We'll find out. It'll take me a little time next time I get to the bike. So that's where we are. Interesting day. And a lot of accomplishments and some not so accomplishments.